Hi everyone and welcome back to Domenika. Today I'm going to do a Pennywise inspired look from the movie It and also the book by Stephen King. And this is also the same look that I did for Dior challenge, which was the week we did recreate Stephen King inspired looks. So more info on that over on my Instagram. I pop up the pictures so you can see. And also go to the post and see more about the look and also a bit more about Dior challenge, which is a very cool challenge on Instagram, I think, and created by quite incredible people, and they also have guest artists, which is fun. So let's get into it.
I start with a red lip liner. Winging out that eyeliner. Domenika.
To start, because I'm going to try to look a bit scary, so I'm going to use glue on my eye. This is a glue stick that you can get here in Norway. Should be non-toxic. I have not really done that much blocking out the brows before. I did do it for my Queen of Hearts look, which I posted over on Instagram. Probably should have gotten a glue stick that is only for my eyebrows, because this one I also used on metal, so hopefully there's not any metal dust in it, because I don't want that around my eyes. But we do for beauty sometimes. And I'm just going to take a spoolie, just any spoolie would do, I would say, and just kind of stick my eyebrows so that there's less texture as possible, because we're going to block out the brow. I'm also going to push my eyebrows a bit upwards. Now that's done, powder it. I'm going to use Dior loose powder, Nude Air in Ivory, and just use the puff. This was a lot of powder. Puff was very much filled with powder. This probably look ridiculous. If you want better tips at blocking out eyebrows, I would probably go to some videos about drag queen stuff, because they usually do it and they're pretty good at it. So let's start with getting my face even whiter than it already is. For that, I'm going to use Blanc by Chanel. Blanc de Chanel. I'm not that good in French really. And also Sink to a Wisper paint pot. I like to use this on my face. It's quite heavy, so it's a bit tricky to take off at the end of the day. But I did use this one when I did my Queen of Hearts make, and that went well if you have an oil cleanser. And I'm going to mix those two together on a mixing tray by Feline, and also this spatula, which makes me feel like a proper makeup artist. So I'm going to scoop this out to my tray and then pump out a bit of this. I mix them together because I think that is going to be a bit more comfortable based on just using the paint pot by itself, which was very heavy when I used that. And I'm going to take my Hollywood Complexion brush by Tilbury and just apply that as if it was the foundation. Yeah, this is much more breathable. But of course you can use white makeup for face makeup, base and stuff, but I don't have it, and I feel like I like to use what I got. And then you not necessarily always need to use makeup the way it was intended, because I think it's a good idea sometimes to just use makeup as, not necessarily use makeup as I would want, because you can get quite a lot of looks out of products, and you don't necessarily need to use the same products every single time. If you want a red eyeliner, you could use a lip liner. Just going to build this up. I won't necessarily paint across my lips, but if it comes a bit over the lips, I think that's okay. And I feel like if some of the brush strokes is visible and if it looks a bit heavy, I think that kind of plays into the vibe in a way. And usually clown makeup is never really natural. Across my eyebrows also. Just patting it over the eyebrows. I'm not that used to blocking out my brows, so I don't know if I got a very good job necessary. I think it takes a bit of practice, like everything in makeup really. I don't like that my eyebrows is so much visible. If you have any tips on getting that part better, just leave them in the comments. Thank you. I mean, like, just this is in a way a Halloween look already. I'm going to go in with only the paint pot to get a bit more coverage over my brows. To I'm going to use this palette by M.A.C, and this is the art library in its designer. I use this palette a lot. I think it's one of my most used palettes after I bought this year, because it has more. It's my only rainbow palette, so in a way it is quite a lot of use for more colorful looks. Going to spat over the creasing on my eyelids, and I'm going to use carbon, which also can be bought individually, I think. I'm applying that quite messy because I don't want this makeup to be perfect at all. I feel like perfection in a way isn't necessarily that great always in Halloween makeup, because you want it to look quite scary also. I'm tapping the brush a bit to make sure I don't get any black fallouts over my shirt, white shirt. I mean, makeup isn't necessarily the easiest thing to remove from clothing, but like most stains, it's better to remove it straight away, I think. I'm applying it very messy, as you can see. I think that is going to make it look even kind of scarier. And for this you just have to trust the process, I think, because this looks ridiculous at the moment. But if you're more curious about the Dior challenge that I talked about, I will link both of the creators of it down in the description box and my Instagram posts. So check that out. It's a very cool community thing over on Instagram. I mean, I there's so many nice people that I get to know through these different challenges on Instagram. Who knew that all the nice people on Instagram is doing makeup? So I think I'm going to add a bit of color into this. I don't necessarily think he had that much, or it, I should say, had that much color into it, but because of the guest artist at the Decadiva this month really likes to experiment with different colors, combinations and stuff, I thought I don't add a teeny bit of blue or something into the eye to pay homage to her. And she will also be linked in the description. And also every one of these will be linked in my Instagram post. I'm going to add this. I forgot to say what it is. This is Nye. It's probably not pronounced that way, but that's how it's pronounced in Norwegian. And it's Cinderella blue. This is the same blue that I used for I ended up using a lot of different blues actually for my Queen of Hearts look, which was also for Decadiva a couple of weeks ago. And I also used this blue mixed with a bit of white eyeshadow for my Tippy Hedron makeup, which was also Decadiva. Done a lot of Decadiva. It's quite a fun challenge. I wish I'd been doing it from the start, really, because I didn't. But I started doing it when I came across it. This is quite a cool pale blue, and if you mix it with a bit of white eyeshadow, it becomes very 60s makeup, and I really love that color because I feel like it's hard to find those type of eyeshadow colors that much anymore. Now that I've added the blue, I think I'm going to go over with a bit more of the black and just kind of dotting it on very messily, like very messy. Just kind of dot it over the entire thing. Perhaps I should go over the brow also. Perhaps I'm going to do it because then they won't be as visible underneath my kind of how I fade a bit. Very kind of fast strokes. I look like a mess. So now that we've finished with those steps, I think I'm going to go to the smile, and then I'm going to go into one of my favorite products. This was what I used when I did the flames to make it around here, to make it look like I was on fire for Witch Week with Decadiva. If you haven't seen that post, go and check that out. It was crazy makeup, and actually I got comments like people didn't realize that the flames was actually makeup, which was a bit fun. And then I'm going to go into their water makeup 501, and this is Grimas, the French makeup artist brand stage makeup, and this is water activated. It's water makeup. It's basically what they use on. This is basically a thing you can use on children. I'm just going to spray that with my water bottle. These are very handy when you're working with those. And I'm going to take a small brush. So this one. It's very teeny. And this is a Crulan 4 brush. I'm just going to... And this is very great because you can mix the different colors together also. I'm going to use it to map out my shape and also create a nose. This feels so wrong in a way to make do this on your nose. It feels like, I don't know, I don't really... Whew. This is just to map out the shape. When I was googling this for this challenge, I googled this film, It, and I got IT up. I don't know if it's called that in English, but in Norwegian it's called IT, and that's people who works with computers. Well, this isn't that at all, so I didn't know necessarily how I felt about that. I would say that this water makeup is very pigmented, but they are very easy to take off at the end of the day. I'm going to use a lipstick also, but I want to kind of create a shape first of all. And from the corner of the mouth, just go up, up like so. And then I'm going to, this isn't necessarily straight, I'm going to perfect a bit more, going up like so. At the moment I feel more funny than scary. It's starting to come together. It's slightly different on both sides, but I think that is okay really, because it's just a bit of fun, and again, it doesn't necessarily need to be perfect, I think, to be scary. I'm going to go in with a bit of blue eyeliner, Vognhallen. I'm going to use NYX Blue Trip Epicwear, and this is quite a pale blue, as you can see, also to give me more color, and I think it's going to look quite great with this makeup look. You see, I feel like this one looks more kind of finished, and this eye looks that much finished without. Ugh. So to perfect the smile thing going on, I'm going to use a couple different colors to mix a bit of different lipstick colors. I'm going to start with Velvet Jazz by Eldridge, and this is quite a dark red. It's the same brush that I used just kind of brush off the excess. And this is a lot darker than the red that I already have on, so it's going to create a bit more depth. And I'm going to go in. Probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing this because it makes it harder. And I'm also going to apply this kind of like my main color. In a way, funny that I have red hair because it's going to match in a way. I put it into pigtails, but I don't know. Maybe I should do something more with it because I feel it's a bit sweet with pigtails, but probably I'm just going to leave it. Actually use this, I also use this lipstick and also the Velvet Dragon lipstick, and I try to look like a witch being burned at a stake. And I think like this look is very much okay to overline, but not necessarily overline so it looks pretty, but more kind of overline so it kind of looks a bit scary. Again, I feel like this doesn't need to be perfect. It's hard to look at myself in a way because this seems weird. I'm going to go over the same lipstick for my nose to create a bit more depth. So if you have any suggestions for looks you want me to see, it doesn't necessarily need to be Halloween, but if you want to see more Halloween look, I would do that also. Now I think I'm going to add a bit more of a brown lipstick. This is Velvet Decade by Eldridge again. I'm just going to dry my brush on the blanket I have in front of me, which I use for makeup. And I'm going to take this and kind of create even more depth concealer. This is one of my favorite Eldridge lipstick because I don't really wear this color that much, but it's great for whenever you need to add more depth to any shade really. And I also think I did use this in the Whispering look also, I didn't mention it before, but added some brown tones in there also, with the yellow, with the red, a bit of black. Crazy what you can do with makeup really. A bit right here, right underneath the nostril. Sound might be a bit less good than usual because I haven't got my microphone. And just top this off, I'm going to go into another lipstick again by Eldridge, the Velvet Dragon. And this is very kind of light and yellow shade. So I'm going to add this to kind of give me a bit more highlight. You don't need to go in with so many layers of lipstick in different colors and stuff. I like to do it because it gives more texture. Can makes it kind of not kind of everything one tone, makes it more kind of realistic in a way. Obviously I'm not going to look exactly like in the film. I think it's 2 films actually, but first one has slightly different makeup. They are actually a lot different really. I want to also bring this all the way up into my eye. It's good that my nephew isn't there, because I think I would have perhaps scared him a bit with this makeup look. So I think I'm going to do a bit of contouring to make this look even more kind of scary in a way. What to use? I think I might go into the same kind of black shade and mix that up with make it more into grey by mixing it with a powder. I don't necessarily want anything too warm and brown with this look. So I'm going to kind of just go underneath the cheekbones with this. Doesn't really show from the front, but makes me look kind of a bit more punched, more like a skeleton in a way. Pennywise did really have a quite special head shape in both of the films. If you want to recreate that, you need to use more prosthetic makeup. I haven't started experimenting that much with that yet, but I'm planning on learning a bit more about that also. I realize I haven't done my ears, so I think I'm going to go over and just add a bit of white on my ears so they're not that kind of sticking out. Just using whatever is left on the brush. And I'm just not going to go down the neck necessarily, but you can. I just don't want that much on my top, but I think I'm going to go a teeny bit with the Chanel one. Just kind of lighten it, not necessarily look as white as my face, but so it's not that hard transition. Teeny bit like so. I don't really think I'm finished with the eyes yet. I'm not completely happy with it. So I'm going to go in with this one, Bob Brown. And it's a cream gel liner. I'll use this brush by Bunny. I put the number up on the screen. And this shade isn't black, it's kind of almost black. She has a lot of almost black shades. So this is black mauve shimmering, so it has a bit mauve in it, but it's still a bit black. Has a bit black kind of qualities to it. And I'm going to line my eyes with this, and also I think this is going to add a bit into the look and make my eyes a bit more intense. I might go in with a bit of black also. See how this goes first. As you can see, out of the liner, since it has a bit of the mauve in it, it kind of makes it a bit like have a bit of blood quality, I think, which is great with this look. I'm also going to go in with the same liner some places along my, to just add a bit even more depth, kind of add and layer different products. And I think I'm going to do the same color to make me look like I have a bit of a eyebrow and higher up. gonna strap that on. I have not nicer eyebrows than Pennywise have, I think, but gives the idea. And also, if there's any kind of Halloween look or other looks that I do on Instagram you want to see, then just let me know by commenting here and there, and I'll do a tutorial. I'm going to add a bit of black eyeliner also. I'm going to use this one by Tilbury. It's a black liquid eyeliner called the Feline Flick, and it's in the color Panther. I think this is a very good Feline Flick eyeliner pen. A lot of eyeliner pens like this, which has this sharpie end, aren't that necessarily the easiest thing to apply. But I feel like this one is actually quite easy to apply, which is why I like it. To go through my eyebrows a bit with it also. Create kind of more texture there. You see, from this brow to this brow. I'm just going to add that as a thin line into the lashes. This fringe is dry, crazy, just take a clip and clip it out of the way. Should have done that in the start of the video. So I'm also going to go in with Rock and Coal eyeliner in Bedroom Black by Tilbury. This is also very, very black. It's my favorite eyeliner actually. And I'm going to go kind of onto the waterline with this because I feel like that creates even more kind of the makeup. Creates kind of more a smudgy liner, and also going to create even more kind of that into my eyes. See the difference between the two eyes. I probably should have done this before. Okay, Q-tip instead, all up the eye. And it's very kind of dark and easy to smudge out. Tilbury is quite good at eyeliners, so I'm going to go in with other eyeliner by Tilbury, and this is the Eye Color Magic in Mesmerising Maroon. I'm going to use the matte side to get kind of reddish brown liner to kind of add to this look. And Tilbury's liner really does last quite well. And if this bleeds a bit onto the skin, I think it's okay because it's going to give more of that scary appearance. To take that eyelid bit over eyelid also, and going back in with the Velvet Jazz, we add a bit of that into my eyelids also, so it kind of looks like the red smile bits are going over my eyelids also. So probably should go down because I think I'm going to scare my father a bit. Going in with the eyeshadow and just make sure everything is blended, patting it on, blended and blended really. Make sure there's color and things are a bit messy. I feel like I'm now going to go in and kind of adjust it even more like I want it to, kind of maybe make it a bit more some places, to make it even more less perfect in a way that might, I feel like, makes it a bit more scary. Taking black also, just patting it over everywhere. He has these veins on his forehead, so perhaps I should paint them some fake veins. And I'm going to go in with create kind of some veins. Just to give you an idea. Dark naturally, so I think I'm going to use mascara, but just to kind of blacken eyelashes, I'm just going to just do this. And as I said, make lashes look great, just kind of don't look black, I suppose. And if I get some white on the eyelid, I think that's okay. It works best with this look. So just going to take down the hair clip. And I think I'm going to try to make this, style this in some way. I have quite greasy hair, which I also think it works better for Halloween looks also, because I feel like if the hair is too kind of perfect looking and like you just washed it, it just isn't that scary really. And there you have it, that's the finished look. So thank you so much for watching. Happy Halloween, and as we say in Norway, ha det bra.
I start with a red lip liner. Winging out that